Hello guys, I Shreya Katyal welcome you all to Rubaru. You're watching MSTV and we are at Marva Studios. Today with us we have the very famous interior designer Ms. Shalini Pereira. So let's talk to her and know about her journey. Hi ma'am, welcome to the studios.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So first of all, I would like to know that how did you begin your career?
So as a kid, I was always into rearranging the furniture in my house. I loved painting and art and color. Initially, I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
Once I kind of figured out who I was, I sort of decided that, yeah, I think interiors is the right field for me. Once I got into it, I didn't have any regrets. I knew that it was, I was passionate about what I was doing.
What was that thing which attracted you at that time?
I think it was the idea of creating a space that was conceptualized by me from start to finish. So it's almost like having a baby and watching that baby grow. So it's initially just a little idea, and
Which
then
you
it goes
develop
into
on.
a sketch. And then from a sketch you convert it into drawings, and then you go through the entire laborious process of getting that executed on the site and the hardships and pains that go along with that.
There's a lot of hard work
Yes.
behind that project which is
Yes.
executed.
Yes, a lot of pain, a lot of fighting for your ideas to to go from the concept to the execution. A lot of haggling with clients over making sure that their dreams and their aspirations are incorporated into the designs, but at the same time your vision isn't diluted. So that's a very laborious process with a lot of back and forth. And then when you finally unveil the space, two things. One is you experience that joy to see, something that was nothing, reach exactly what you had visualized it to be.
Your creation,
Yes,
right?
my creation,
Yeah,
or my team's creation.
True.
The other thing is to see the joy on the client's face when they're happy with something.
So, they like the joy of their dreams getting materialized, I must say.
Exactly.
Right? So
I mean,
it's beautiful.
an example of that would be, I had a client a couple of years back. They didn't have a lot of sense in terms of like design aesthetic, not a lot of inputs into what they wanted. They just told me, your brief is give us our dream home. You understand who we are and make it. And that was it. That was actually a dream project. And when it was completed, the son was so happy that he came and he touched my feet and
Oh
said
my
that,
God.
ma'am, you have given us the home that we have waited our whole life for. As a designer, that is the biggest reward you can get. Even money can't compare to that feeling when you know that a client is 100% happy with what you have given
And
them.
that is the quality of a true artist, I must say. When their dreams, their work is recognized, and
Yes.
that feeling is like unmatchable.
It's like a high,
Unmatchable.
almost. Yeah, like a high.
Yeah.
And
So
it can be addictive, because once you feel that, then
You
you
need
want
it
to
more
work
and
harder
more.
the next time.
that's a motivation
Yeah,
for them.
yeah.
That's amazing. So how many years, since how many years you are into this industry?
So I did, my graduation was a 5-year interior design course. So it was very intensive. We learned, I would say that you could call me an interior architect rather than just a decorator or a designer, because we learned a lot of structures.
Okay.
We learned about joinery detailing in furniture. We actually learned how to saw wood and stuff like that. We learned about history of design and art and stuff, as well as the technical stuff in terms of obviously CAD related drawings and things. Once I finished that, I worked for a year just to gain a little bit of experience and kind of figure out what I wanted to do. There was two paths. One was get into teaching and one was continue in design. So in between, I decided to do my master's.
Okay.
I went to De Montfort University to
Oh,
get
that's
my master's
amazing.
done. It was basically, the course was design innovation, and it involved basically they give you a topic like your dissertation topic, and then you work throughout the entire year working towards that topic. Mine was building a sustainable home for the middle class person in India.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so there was a lot of things like sustainability, using of solar energy, materials that were easily available, Indian materials. That was a nice experience. And then when I came back, I went back into the same firm which I was originally working in.
Okay.
I was lucky enough that my boss gave me a chance to also experience architecture along with design, because he said that he felt that I had the knack to design not just the interior spaces but also the exterior spaces. That was something that I really enjoyed and was very, very passionate about. And the firm that we were in, it was really great because I should mention him, it's Dipen Gadda and Associates, because he'd be furious with me if I didn't mention him.
Thanks to him for giving us such a brilliant designer.
I wouldn't say brilliant, but he was an amazing guru.
You're being modest.
So it was good. He let us understand the entire design process from start to finish. I would say that my education, whatever education was lacking from university, was completed at that firm. We got the confidence to kind of manage an entire project, from the designing to understanding how to going on site and explaining things to the various vendors like carpenters and electricians and things. You know, understanding the complete design process until the end where you hand it over to the client, right from the point of like, you know, getting the shoot done for the home. So, setting the bed and arranging the cushions on the bed.
So, the most difficult part is always that communicating with your client, and if you can ace it, then you can materialize your project.
I would say communicating with the client is
the
one.
idea, communicating basically with the mind of your client.
That is one
because
thing.
You cannot put your idea into his head and
Yes.
cannot grasp immediately his idea into your mind.
So, it's very, at least this process is something that I follow, where if a client approaches me to get his or her house done, we sort of sit down and understand each other's viewpoints when it comes to design, because there are different, taste is different, nobody has the same taste.
True, that's the case.
There are people who do very minimalistic designs, and then there are others who do really bling designs. I am sort of more towards minimalism, but I understand to make it in Delhi, at least you have to have a little bit of bling.
You cannot put your idea into every mind. Right?
Yeah.
So, you have to
so we kind of sit down and understand what our tastes are. They're kind of similar, like, you know, with a little bit of variation, then we kind of both know it'll work out. But if there are also certain times when a client says like, look, this is what we want, and it's diametrically opposite to the kind of designs that we do. I mean, there is no, like, if he comes and tells me I want a house that looks like a French palace, that's not something I can do.
So, what are those basic points which you keep in mind while executing any project? Like some basic tips which work on every project, or for every project
I think
are
every
different?
project is different, but the most important thing would
some
be
basics for a designer.
Yeah, the most important thing would be understand your client. Communication is really important. Don't be afraid to put your foot down and say that, like, what you're saying, I don't agree with what you're saying. I don't think it will work, because at the end of the day, you are the expert in the field. The client is not. He will only have certain visions and ideas for his home, but it's your job to interpret it.
So, the convincing part should be
the
there.
convincing part. Another thing also that is, I would say, important for a designer, especially a woman designer, is that it's, at the end of the day, interior design, architecture, it's a very male dominated field in terms of the people who we work with.
Okay.
So, I may be a woman, but on site there are only men. So, convincing those men to respect you in terms of, you know what you're doing,
That's the task.
is something that I have found it involves a certain skill.
So, but then if you're master of your field, they tend to respect you for your art.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You have to prove to them that you know what you're talking about, because very often you do have a lot of designers who don't know, you know, not everyone is perfect, and there are certain things which they don't know, and they are always kind of, these guys are waiting to see how much you know. And
trying to judge you,
not
assess
so
you.
much judge, but you know, if you want something done a certain way, you need to know how you can do it.
True.
You can't get someone to do something you want if you yourself don't know how it's to be done.
Exactly, you have to set an example.
Yeah, yeah. So that's very important. That's another thing that, especially if you're a woman coming into this field, you have to think about.
That sounds pretty challenging, and I'm happy that you have aced those challenges.
It's fun. It's also, that's another high that you get when you convince
a self-confidence kind of thing.
Yes.
That's amazing. So, one thing I would like to ask you now is that since we have a fashion and design week, so how do you relate fashion and design? Like, what are the similarities between them, and how do they complement each other?
Right. So, I think all fields of design are kind of interrelated. Fashion can be inspired from architecture, architecture can be inspired from fashion, interior design can be inspired from fashion. Sometimes colors that are trending on the runway also make it into your home in terms of the furnishings that are used, the colors that are seen, the prints that you see in the home. So I think we all kind of draw inspiration from the different fields.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. So, ma'am, finally, like I would like to have a message from your side for the audiences, a generic message to lead a good life, to be a good artist, because you are an inspiration yourself. So, something for them.
So work hard, that's number one. You're not going to get anywhere in life until you're willing to work really hard and commit to whatever you're doing. So you can't have one foot in and one foot out of the door. You have to be all in. At the expense sometimes of sacrificing, in my case, family time. I have a little 4-year-old now.
Okay.
And it's really difficult sometimes because
Doesn't
you
look
have
like.
to. Thank you. But be passionate about what you're doing to the extent where you'll wake up in the middle of the night thinking, oh, I figured out a solution to this design. Let me go and sketch it. Yeah, be passionate and work really hard, and don't be afraid to take risks and fail spectacularly, because it's you learn from your failures. That would be the message that I would give any youngster getting into design is like, don't be afraid to take risks, especially when you're starting out, because you have so much less to lose when you're starting off.
True.
And you can experiment and kind of through your risks and failures and successes discover the kind of designer you are supposed to be.
You
or
can
you're meant to
unleash that
be.
artist within.
Yeah,
Right?
you can't do that if you just take the safe route all the time.
True.
So yeah, that would be my message.
Thank you. Thanks for sprinkling lots of inspiration on
Thanks
us
for having
and
me.
coming to the studios. So, don't be afraid to take risks is the mantra. This was all about interior designing. This was all about fashion. This was all about positivity and inspiration from Ms. Shalini's side. I, Shreya Katyal, sign off for the day, but I'll be back with another very eminent celebrity guest for you. Till then, you keep watching MS TV, Har Pal Aapke Saath.